Arsenal Football Club is a professional football club based in Islington, London, England, that plays in the Premier League, the top flight of English football. The club has won 13 league titles, a record 13 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 15 FA Community Shields, the only League Centenary Trophy, 1 UEFA Cup Winners Cup and 1 Inter-Cities Fairs Cup. Arsenal was the first club from the south of England to join the Football League, in 1893, and they reached the First Division in 1904. Relegated only once, in 1913, they continue the longest streak in the top division, 3, and have won the second most top-flight matches in English football history. 4. In the 1930s, Arsenal won 5 league championships and 2 FA Cups, and another FA Cup and 2 championships after the war. In 1970-71, they won their first league and FA Cup double. Between 1989 and 2005, they won 5 league titles and 5 FA Cups, including 2 more doubles. They completed the 20th century with the highest average league position. 5. Herbert Chapman won Arsenal's first national trophies, but died prematurely. He helped introduce the WM formation, floodlights, and shirt numbers, 6, and added the white sleeves and brighter red to the club's kit. Arsene Wenger was the longest-serving manager and won the most trophies. He won a record 7 FA Cups, and his title-winning team set an English record for the longest top-flight unbeaten league run at 49 games between 2003 and 2004, 7, and in 2003-04 going an entire season unbeaten for the first time in modern history, 8, receiving the nickname the Invincibles. In 1886, Woolwich munitions workers founded the club as Dial Square. In 1913, the club crossed the city to Arsenal Stadium in Highbury, becoming close neighbours of Tottenham Hotspur, and creating the North London Derby. In 2006, they moved to the nearby Emirates Stadium. In terms of revenue, Arsenal is the 9th highest earning football club in the world, earned €487.6 million in 2016-17 season. 9. Based on social media activity from 2014 to 2015, Arsenal's fanbase is the 5th largest in the world. 9. In 2018, Forbes estimated the club was the 3rd most valuable in England, with the club being worth $2.24 billion. 10. In October 1886, Scotsman David Danskin and his fellow 15 munitions workers in Woolwich, now southeast London, formed Arsenal as Dial Square, with each member contributing sixpence and Danskin adding another 3 shillings to help form the club. 1A, named after the heart of the Royal Arsenal complex, they took the name of the whole complex a month later. 1413, Royal Arsenal FC's first home was Plumstead Common. 13, though they spent most of their time in southeast London playing on the other side of Plumstead, at the Manor Ground. Royal Arsenal won Arsenal's first trophies in 1890 and 1891, and these were the only Football Association trophies Arsenal won during their time in southeast London. 1516, in 1891, Royal Arsenal became the first London club to turn professional. 17. Royal Arsenal renamed themselves for a second time upon becoming a limited liability company in 1893. They registered their new name, Woolwich Arsenal, with the Football League when the club ascended later that year. 1819, Woolwich Arsenal was the first Southern member of the Football League, starting out in the 2nd Division and winning promotion to the First Division in 1904. Falling attendances, due to financial difficulties among the munitions workers and the arrival of more accessible football clubs elsewhere in the city, led the club close to bankruptcy by 1910. 2021, businessmen Henry Norris and William Hall became involved in the club, and sought to move them elsewhere. 22-23. In 1913, soon after relegation back to the 2nd Division, Woolwich Arsenal moved to the new Arsenal Stadium in Highbury, North London. This saw their 3rd change of name. The following year, they reduced Woolwich Arsenal to simply the Arsenal. 24-25, in 1919, the Football League voted to promote the Arsenal, instead of relegated local rivals Tottenham Hotspur, into the newly enlarged First Division, despite only listing the club 6th in the 2nd Division's last pre-war season of 1914-15. Some books have speculated that the club won this election to Division 1 by dubious means. Later that year, the Arsenal started dropping the unofficial documents, gradually shifting its name for the final time towards Arsenal, as it is generally known today. 29. With a new home and First Division football, attendances were more than double those at the Manor Ground, and Arsenal's budget grew rapidly. 30-31, their location and record-breaking salary offer lured star Huddersfield Town manager Herbert Chapman in 1925. 32-33, over the next 5 years, Chapman built a new Arsenal. He appointed enduring new trainer Tom Whittaker, 34, implemented Charlie Buchan's new twist on the nascent WM formation, 35-36, captured young players like Cliff Baston and Eddie Hapgood, and lavished Highbury's income on stars like David Jack and Alex James. With record-breaking spending and gate receipts, Arsenal quickly became known as the Bank of England club. 37-38. Transformed, Chapman's Arsenal claimed their first national trophy, the FA Cup, in 1930. 2 league championships followed, in 1930-31 and 1932-33. 39, Chapman also presided over multiple off-the-pitch changes, white sleeves and shirt numbers were added to the kit, a tube station was named after the club, 43-44, and the first of 2 opulent, Art Deco stands was completed, with some of the first floodlights in English football. 31, suddenly, in the middle of the 1933-34 season, Chapman died of pneumonia. 45, his work was left to Joe Shaw and George Allison, who saw out a hat-trick with the 1933-34 and 1934-35 titles, and then won the 1936 FA Cup and 1937-38 title. World War II meant the Football League was suspended for 7 years, but Arsenal returned to win it in the second post-war season, 1947-48. This was Tom Whittaker's first season as manager, after his promotion to succeed Allison, and the club had equaled the Champions of England record. They won a third FA Cup in 1950, and then won a record-breaking 7th championship in 1952-53. 46, however, the war had taken its toll on Arsenal. The club had had more players killed than any top-flight club, 47, and debt from reconstructing the North Bank stand bled Arsenal's resources. 31-25. Arsenal were not to win the league or the FA Cup for another 18 years. The 53 champion squad was old, and the club failed to attract strong enough replacements. 48, although Arsenal were competitive during these years, their fortunes had waned. The club spent most of the 1950s and 1960s in mid-league mediocrity. 49, even former England captain Billy Wright could not bring the club any success as manager, in a stint between 1962 and 1966. 50. Arsenal tentatively appointed club physiotherapist Bertie Mee as acting manager in 1966. 51-52, with new assistant Don Howe and new players such as Bob McNabb and George Graham, Mee led Arsenal to their first League Cup finals, in 1967-68 and 1968-69. Next season saw a breakthrough, Arsenal's first competitive European trophy, the 1969-70 Inter-Cities Fairs Cup. And the season after, an even greater triumph, Arsenal's first League and FA Cup double, and a new Champions of England record. 53, this marked a premature high point of the decade. The double-winning side was soon broken up and the rest of the decade was characterized by a series of near misses, starting with Arsenal finishing as FA Cup runners-up in 1972, and First Division runners-up in 1972-73. 52.